Mike McCool here in the Royal Examiner studio today, and with me is Michael Williams. Michael is known about in our community. He has had his fingers in a lot of projects over the years. He's worked at Randolph-Macon Academy forever.
20 years.
And 20 years, and he's now working at E. Wilson Morrison
Correct.
Elementary School. So he's always been involved with the youth of this community, and he's very passionate about it. But today we're going to talk about a program that he's involved with the Rotary Club, and that is called Interact.
Correct.
And so tell us a little bit about this Interact.
Sure. So Interact started a long time ago with when Rotarians and Rotary was shifting from just the business networking model and a few community service projects here and there to how do we get young people involved so that they can have a sense and ownership of service above self. And so what Rotary clubs would do is they would partner with different high schools around the world, and someone in the school who had a passion for service above self would partner with someone from the Rotary Club, and they would interact with one another and with the young people and do service projects together and give them an opportunity to start to establish an ethos of service. Now, that has morphed over the years to where now middle schools around the early 2000s were allowed to start having Interact clubs. And now we have an elementary version called RYLA, which I have the joy of leading over at E. Wilson Morrison Elementary. And it's a wonderful program and a wonderful way of instilling something beyond yourself with young people and encouraging them to learn how to have a conversation with something other than their thumbs.
Right, exactly. Well, you're building character.
Correct.
This is how this happens, and building future Rotary members, which is good for our community.
Correct.
Well, so there's a lot of things going on with these clubs now. I mean, over the years I've seen the Interact clubs. I know that Skyline has had one, and but there's an event coming up we want to talk about.
Sure.
Tell us, first of all, there's a couple other acronyms that we have. That's at RYLA. And you see that listed all over the place. So tell us a little bit about that. And I think that's all tied together.
Correct. And I think there's some confusion because RYLA itself stands for Rotary Youth Leadership Award. The A is the awards. Now, I haven't seen an award given out in 20 years, but the Rotary Youth Leadership part is still very active, and it's a one-day event. It used to be just students that were hand-selected by their administration or Interact advisors from Winchester, Virginia, down to Johnson City, Tennessee. Well, because of COVID, et cetera, we decided to break it up into areas that we have in Rotary, and in our district 7570, and in Area 1, which is Winchester down to Front Royal, including Stevens City, Middletown, and the area, Clark County, areas in between. We're doing our own RYLA this year because of mitigation procedures with COVID, et cetera, and space limitations. So we're doing one on Saturday, December 4th at the Northern Virginia 4-H Educational Center. And I want to get word out that you don't have to be part of an Interact club to do this.
That's what I say. You always see them tied together.
Yeah, and I think that's where the confusion sets in. Is you do not have to be part of an Interact club to be part of RYLA.
Right.
If you're a young person, if you're a 10th, 11th, or 12th grader in a high school or a homeschooler, I don't care if it's public, private, or homeschool, and you have a passion for service above self, you want to be involved in your community in a positive way, doing community service, then this is a wonderful opportunity for you to network with other young people from this area and figure out, okay, wait a minute, let's come up with our own ideas. And it's one thing to have a 55-year-old chubby bald guy walking around telling you what you ought to be doing. It's another thing when you have buy-in to it.
Exactly.
And the example I'll give is with my little guys at E. Wilson Morrison, my 4th and 5th graders, they wanted to decorate boxes so that they could collect canned goods for the Salvation Army. I can't just take them off campus like I can with the high schoolers and like when I was at RMA and I had a captive audience and get in the bus, we're heading out. You can't do that with a bunch of 4th and 5th graders. So so that was their idea, and so they're decorating boxes to put in each of the classrooms after the Thanksgiving break, so that students can come by and drop off canned goods. And the heartwarming part about this, Mike, is that if you know anything about the students at E. Wilson Morrison Elementary,
Right.
they're the ones that benefit the most from that.
Right.
And yet their passion is to try and help their neighbor. One of the first kids said, well, hey, why don't we put some stuff in the blessing boxes? And a lot of my kids know exactly where the blessing boxes are because they use them.
Right.
And it was so heartwarming to hear children that benefit from that saying, what can we do to help other people? Right. And so from them having that, then we had Skip Rogers come over from Able Forces, and Skip talked about the Christmas program they do and raising money for soldiers and whatever. Our kids said, hey, we want to make a banner and thank our veterans. It was the day before Veterans Day. So just got some crepe paper out. They made I made a huge banner thanking our veterans. I learned the hard way that if you little humor note here, if you want to do a banner with young people, do not put them on opposite sides of the banner, because then half the flags turn out upside down, which is not exactly what you want to promote. But so now we all on one side. But through that, when they found out what that was, my kids said, well, hey, why don't we empty our pockets and put some change in change jars around the classrooms and put a change jar in each classroom, and people can just put their pennies in or whatever, and whatever we raise. And this is coming from 4th and 5th graders.
Exactly.
And if and it's not the out of the mouths of babes. I mean, no one will convince me that students all the way up to senior level in high school don't want to help their community. I refuse to believe it. Yeah, our kids are a little more introverted today, whether we created that because of technology or whether COVID created it or whatever. But I'm telling you, from being the father of a kid who's about to turn 20 years old, who graduated during COVID and went to school his first year during COVID at JMU, he's still got a heck of a heart, and when he sees somebody in need, he wants to do what he can to help. He's just not sure how.
Right.
And so what we're trying to promote on Saturday, December 4th, is a free all-day event. There's no charge. Any young person that's interested can. There's a website they can go to. I'll be happy to share it with people, and we can. I can attach it to the.
Right. We'll put that link below the story.
Correct.
Sure.
And there's a speech contest with cash prizes for people that want to talk about passion, and something we have in Rotary called the 4-way test, and it's a way for all of our young people that are interested and have the time to come and have a fun-free day, a fun-free interactive day, listening to just a couple of guest speakers. We have a guy named Dave Smith, who's well known at the 4-H Center. He started Camp Fantastic with John Dooley years ago. He's going to be doing what's called a True Colors personality test, where the kids break up based upon their personalities, and then they figure out how does this personality work with that personality, and then from there. And then after that, we're going to do a humanitarian project called Rise Against Hunger. We're going to package 10,000 meals in less than 2 hours that are going to go all over the world to try and help with world hunger, and just here in little old Front Royal. And so it's a great way for young people to not just learn about service, but also participate in service. Wonderful hot lunch provided. I think the menu is chicken fingers and mac and cheese, and
that goes everywhere.
Yep, and snacks and whatever. And again, everything's covered. The students don't have to pay a penny.
Right. You sound pretty passionate about this, Michael.
There's a rumor. I think one of my biggest frustrations, and I want to be cautious here, is that. And maybe it's just because of my personality.
Sure. You have a strange personality.
Yeah, I'm an oddball. I'm an oddball. And in the words of, now they call it ADHD. When I was a kid, my dad would just go to my teacher and would say, "Look, my son's different, okay?" And he was very kind about it.
He said, "Deal with it," right?
Yeah, he said he beats to the tune of a different drummer, and sometimes nobody else is invited to the concert.
Or no one hears it.
Yeah, he said, sit him in the front of the classroom. He probably won't bother the kids in the back. Give him a little extra time on his tests, and it'll probably be okay. Other than that, give me a call, and I'll deal with your problem, and you won't have to deal with it tomorrow. Right. And now they call that an IEP.
Right.
But having said that. my parents always tried to gear me towards doing something to deal with that energy, and whether it was baseball or other sports and whatnot. But they knew that I had a passion for helping other people. And so whether I was in school or at VCU or in England or wherever I was, I would always try to find somewhere to help. And when I started working with youth over 30 years ago, I was like, well, what a great group of people who are talking about how they want to do things and listening to their conversations on the side and saying, well, hey, why don't we address this? Yeah. And then 12 years ago, I was invited to join Rotary, and through that it provides another avenue to be able to network with the schools, and I'm happy to network with homeschool networks. Sure. If Seton wants me to come out and talk to them, or some of the Padre Pio, or some of these other homeschool or private school networks want to learn more about this, I'm more than happy to work with anybody.
Yeah, well, that's a group of people that have enough energy that matches yours. Is that what it is?
Well, and I think that's part of it too, is that, especially with my children, with my fourth and fifth graders, they're as off the wall as I am, yeah. And so I think they're still trying to figure me out, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah. You found a place where you fit, right?
Yeah, I finally found my peer group. Yeah.
Well, I know you're really passionate about the working in the community, and so this thing that's happening, this event is happening
Correct.
on the 4th is a RYLA event.
Correct.
Okay, so. And that's tied to this Interact and
Correct.
Early Act, and that's
Correct.
all the kind of the participants in it. So what are the kind of things you have going on this month?
Sure. So December 18th, we're having a day with Santa at the gazebo. It's sponsored by my Rotary Club, the Rotary Club of Warren County. Okay. And the children from E. Wilson Morrison that are part of our Early Act program, as well as our Boys and the Gentlemen program, a different program.
Right.
They're going to come and act as elves, and Santa will be there. And anybody that wants to come and have a picture taken with their children or their animals or whatever, as long as they're docile, the animals and children are welcome to come. And we do that because there's a reality that we've commercialized our holidays to the point where somebody can't go get a picture of their kid with Santa without paying a ridiculous amount of money.
Right.
And
so is this another free event?
It's free. And a few years ago, I just got fed up because I was really frustrated seeing some things where people wanted to get pictures with their kids, and they couldn't get pictures with their kids. So I hope no children are watching this stuff. So I went out and bought a Santa suit. And I just sat in a daily grind for a couple of hours and drank coffee and let kids come sit on my lap and get pictures.
Right.
And it was a lot of people that otherwise would, and we promoted it to where it was free. Right. Otherwise to where people, and then I went to the gazebo only to find out that I was supposed to get a permit and an insurance to do that later. But anyway, at that point, the mayor and everybody, they were like, "Hey, Michael, just next time, kind of let us know, man." Yeah. So we let them know this time, and we actually have the permit and the insurance and everything covered. And so any parents that want to bring their children to get pictures with Santa on December 18th from 9 a.m. to noon at the gazebo is welcome to do that.
Well, let's jump back on this Interact club. So where in our community are these clubs now?
Sure.
Mentioned.
Yeah, so there are officially Interact clubs at Randolph-Macon Academy, Warren County High School, Skyline High School, and some of the private schools. In reality, it's been a struggle the past year and a half, the past 20 months, having them get together and meet from the onset of shutting everything down to opening everything back up, and then finding that means of being able to interact between the school and the Rotary Club. And I don't know if it's COVID fatigue. I don't know if it's that or I shouldn't say younger, because I'm 55, but the individuals within the schools that have the passion for doing this live in Winchester, because that's another conversation. Our housing situation here, to be able to have our teachers, especially our younger teachers, stay here. Most of them live in Winchester or elsewhere. But at the end of the day, they want to go home and be with their families or do their thing. And then some of our other kids, our high school kids, are involved in sports. So a lot of them that would want to participate aren't able to because of sports, and we're trying to figure out, hey, do we do this on the weekend? What's a way to figure this out? At John Hanley High School, for example, in Winchester, Virginia, a lady named Julia Kogut is their Interact advisor. Now, she also happens to be a Rotarian. So you've got a twofer there, and you've got somebody that's part of Rotary and understands the Rotary ethos, but also has an incredible passion for youth activities. So she has her classroom as a place where on Sunday afternoons, every other Sunday afternoon, she has close to 100 kids show up just on their own. To figure out what they can do to help their local community. And these aren't kids that come from very wealthy families. I think sometimes when people think of Hanley, they just think of the houses around the Hanley area. But these are kids that come from off of Braddock Street, off of Cork, off of Kent, but they want something to do on Sunday that's positive, and they'll walk or hitch a ride with a friend to get over there because they're just passionate about helping other people. And it was just a matter of one teacher having that energy to say, hey, I'll do it. Now, I do it at E. Wilson Morrison because I'm already there. If you're a teacher, you don't have to be a Rotarian to do this. Marlena Connor is the Interact advisor at Skyline Middle School, which my club represents and sponsors. And they have a club period. And so she volunteered to do Interact as a club. And so kids come to her a couple of times a week, and they talk about ways they can help the community. And they may write letters to soldiers. They're going to help with the Salvation Army bell ringing in a few weeks. And they're finding creative ways to where they can do a little thing each time to help out. At Randolph-Macon Academy Middle School, which our club sponsors, they clean up Kendrick Lane, and they've already done one massive cleanup on Kendrick Lane. Sadly, 3 weeks after you clean up Kendrick Lane needs to be cleaned up again.
Right. I remember when the police chief went by, they picked up 12 huge 50-gallon bags of trash just in a couple hours up and down Kendrick Lane.
Now, here's the cool thing. Several of my students live on Kendrick Lane, and they have already said, Mr. Williams, we'll be happy to go over there with you one Saturday and help you pick that up. And these are kids from E. Wilson Morrison Elementary School, and not just my 4th and 5th Interact kids, but second, third graders that play football out there on the hill at those apartments. And they're like, we'll be happy to come over there one Saturday morning and help you pick stuff up. And it was just a matter of somebody caring about them enough to give them an outlet to help their own community. We're struggling with the high schools because, I don't know why. I don't know if it's a misunderstanding of what the role is and what the role has been and what the school believes the role now should be. I don't know if it's a matter of us just finding somebody in our club that's willing to go in and take over, or if it's somebody from the community that has a huge passion for youth and would be interested in engaging with us about even maybe becoming a Rotarian, and going over to a Skyline High or a Warren County High. Now, Warren County is sponsored by the Front Royal Rotary, but they would love to have somebody, I'm sure, go into Warren County and help run it.
The more the merrier.
The more the merrier. Bingo. So, it's just a matter of figuring out where the communication is, and if we can find somebody to do it. We're having a similar situation in Rotary that I think every organization, including public schools, are having with adults when their day is over. I'm a volunteer. I'm not paid a penny to do any of this. The teachers that do this at the schools are volunteers. They're not paid a penny to do it. I think sometimes people see me and they're like, "Oh, that's the guy that's paid to make the kids do stuff." Well, no, actually, I'm not paid. I'm paid to help children with social and emotional issues at E. Wilson Morrison Elementary School, and I just happen to own a private business. But as far as everything I do for youth, I've never taken nor wanted a penny in terms of after those hours. And so it's just a matter of finding other people that have that same passion. They're
out there,
and I believe they are.
I believe they are.
I know the kids are there.
Exactly.
I know the kids are there.
Well, we need a little bit of encouragement from the public, and people want to help. They just don't know what to do or where to go or who's going to help them along, and they don't want to be that first one that goes out there to look for it because they don't. It's kind of like lost in the group.
I'll even attach my email address to to the link in case
Sure.
people want to engage me privately about it, or look me up on Facebook and
Sure.
want to engage me there.
We'll put all that contact information
Yeah.
below the video here. The event link for the
Correct.
December the 4th.
And
the RYLA event.
and the event link for
And the
RYLA
link.
and the speech contest, which again there's cash prizes for that.
Right.
And then if people want, and again that you don't have to be an Interact to come to the RYLA event.
Exactly.
If you're a youth and you're a 10th, 11th, or 12th grader, and you want to figure out how to make your community a better place and help engage with other youth and network with other youth on ideas that you can take back to your school, and we'll be glad to help you. We want to help figure it out. Then please register for this event. Again, it's free.
It sounds like a lot of fun. December 4th is going to be a busy time in Front Royal.
Yes, it is.
We've got a lot of festivities going on. Your event, the Christmas parade, starts at 4 o'clock.
Correct.
Are you going to be done by 4 o'clock?
We're supposed to be done by 3:30.
Well, there you go. You'll have time to do both.
Yeah. Well, I was asked to be Santa afterwards. I said, "Man, no." At some point, I gotta.
You got to cut it loose, right?
Yeah, and I just want to actually. I'll be honest, Mike. I want to just enjoy the parade for once.
Right.
And it might sound selfish, but I've always had something going on during the parade,
Right.
within the parade, and this I think is the first year that I'll actually be able to just enjoy.
Well, here I was
it.
going to
So
have you come down and help MC the parade with me.
I'll be happy. I'll be there at 4 o'clock.
Swing by, I'll be there. Come by a little before 4 and we'll get together then.
Happy to help
So
you.
there's tons of stuff going on. Really,
Correct.
this December 4th, which is right around the corner, this RYLA event up at the 4-H Center sounds like a tremendous activity for youths of our community. The
Correct.
youths. The youths.
Oh,
You'll get that.
Joe Pesci.
But
So my cousin Vinny? Was
yeah, yes, that was a great movie. There's a lot of good morals in that story. Anyway, that's going on. We'll have the Christmas parade going on. The 18th, you have another program at the gazebo with photos for Santa. And all these events are free, even the parade. I mean, it's just a great, and you will see people coming out early. We love parades in this community.
Amen.
And we love these things. And I think one thing I want to point out is the blessing that you get is in the giving.
Amen.
It's not, you think all these people benefit from all these things that they get, but really the big benefit is the people that give.
I think it was Mahatma Gandhi that said, to truly find yourself, lose yourself in the service of others.
That sounds like your Rotary motto.
Yeah, it's a service above self.
Right. Well, Michael, I really appreciate you coming in, talking to me. I know you're a blessing to our community, and we hope that we can encourage some of our youths of the community to come out on Saturday, get involved in the school Interact clubs. There's always things to do in this community and people to do. Networking is what it's all about.
Amen.
And I think, and especially if you can do it with purpose. I think.
Well, there's the old phrase, build it and they will come,
Yep.
to quote Major League.
Yep.
Actually, Field of Dreams. Sorry, thank you.
Field of
Field of Dreams. And to take that quote, we're trying to build something. I think people were so used to what was that because what was may no longer be an option. The question now is, what do we build?
Right.
And so my encouragement to the young people is to come out and let's help build it together.
Right. The idea is there. We just got to bring it forth.
Correct.
What the mind of man can achieve and believe he can achieve. Is that how it goes? Something like that?
We'll go with that.
All right. Michael, again, it's been a pleasure, and we will get together here soon, and we'll see you on December 4th.
Look
All right?
forward to
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.